Great to be here with you, Joe.
Good to be here with you, Chris.
Well, thank you. I wanted to ask you, can you tell us some background on where the idea from SpillFix originated, a little bit how you did it, and where the really story comes from?
Well, you know, I've been involved with the coconut industry in Southeast Asia for close to 22 years now. I traveled through there as a young man, saw some waste, coconut husk waste, literally saw mountains of it. And I thought that I could do something with it, do something with the waste. The properties of coconut husk dust, as you know, it's super absorbent. It holds lots of liquid. I found that interesting. We were having a drought in Australia at the time, and I thought, hey, this could be great for you know, doing something in drought conditions. And then set about to make some horticultural products. Firstly, as an additive to potting soils, to improve the water holding of the potting soil, to help with the drought. And that was the start of the journey. And over the years, you know, making one product, you would end up with waste, and then I'd look for something to do with that waste stream. And the SpillFix product comes out of a waste stream from our hydroponic range of products. So we've got a range of hydroponic products that's used in greenhouses and glass houses all around the world. And in making those products, to make it a really good product, I removed certain particle sizes, and then I ended up with another waste stream, and then I had to figure out what do I do with that. By playing around with it, I figured that it was great for absorbing hydrocarbons, and that's how I decided to make it into an absorbent product and created the brand SpillFix.
What makes the product so effective? Why does it absorb so well?
Because coir dust, or coconut husk dust, also known as coir, C-O-I-R, when you look at it under microscope, it's the structure, the microscopic structure of it is like small, tiny little sponges. And those sponges, you know, that sponge-like structure will absorb and hold liquids inside it. The other part of it, the structure also gives those micro sponges huge surface area. So if you took a teaspoon of coir dust and folded it out to see what surface area you get, a teaspoon will give you the size of a tennis court. In surface area. And so it's that large surface area at a microscopic level that makes it so super absorbent.
So it's a capillary system, so when it gets on the liquid, it's actually pulling the liquids inside the material.
Correct. It pulls it in there and it will hold it in there.
Does it release it out?
Water it does. If it absorbs water, it will release that. It's called the cation exchange capacity of a medium. So, for instance, in potting soil, if you put water into that potting soil and the plant root sucks on that, great cation exchange means that soil will release that water. Coir dust will release water very easily when a plant root sucks on it, or if you squeeze it, it will let go of it. Interesting thing is that when it absorbs hydrocarbons, it doesn't release it. It hangs on to it. It adheres to the surface area, the capillary surface area of the coir structures, which makes it such a fantastic product to clean up spills, oil spills, hydrocarbon spills, paint spills.
So it absorbs a full range, it sounds like, from the fuels to oils to resins.
Well, that's what we found now that we've been doing this for the last 3 years here in the US. we've been amazed at the amount of things that it will absorb. The different types of industries that has never had an absorbent or a cleaner or a floor sweep that can deal with certain spills, like carbon black, for instance. That was a really interesting one, down at BMW in South Carolina, where they make, they create huge amounts of mess in these rooms where they test engine blocks, and they mix oil and carbon black together to simulate used oil. And these engine blocks have the head of the blocks off, and it just punches all these oil all over the room. And to clean that up, they have a team that comes in every night with coats and chemicals and buckets and mops, and they spend all night cleaning those floors. They said, well, do you think SpillFix would clean that up? And I said, well, I don't know. Well, let's try it. And lo and behold, it did it. It picked it up as easily as it picks up motor oil.
Has there been any liquids we've come across that it hasn't worked on?
So far, no. It's worked on glues, resins, polymers, all kinds of things that we never knew it could actually do that. Every week we get new customers or we come across customers that say, hey, how does it work? Why does it do this? And I say, why does it do what? And they say, it's picked up this glue that we've never been able to find anything that could do that. And I say, well, I don't know how it does that, but it's a magical product in that way.
Well, the industry standard for the last 70 years has been the clay-based products.
Yes.
Which are very dusty and they're very toxic. Is the same volume required of SpillFix to clean up these spills? Do you need as much SpillFix to clean up a gallon spill, a gallon of oil, as you would the clay?
No, you need, from a volume or weight basis, 70% less absorbent to clean up these traditional spills compared to the clay-based products. And so that in itself, I mean, when you're using such a much smaller amount of product, it means you have to buy less. You're saving money in having to do that.
Well, what a positive solution. So there would be many savings involved with the product, but I think it sounds like a lot of safety applications that you're using so much less product to carry around and to move and to store, and then I would imagine a significant decrease of waste that goes to landfill at the end of the day.
Well, that goes to the heart of why I do this. Every product that I've ever made, everything that I've ever done in the last 20 years has always been about how can I make a difference to the industry that I'm in, to the environment, to the workers, to the people that have to handle these products. And SpillFix for me is probably the pinnacle of all of the products that I've done, because when I came to the US and looked at what people were using to mitigate spills in the workplace, yes, I discovered that for decades they've been using a clay-based product that is unfortunately carcinogenic. The clay, we have clay-based products in Australia, New Zealand, the UK have them. The clay they use in those places are not carcinogenic. They don't have the same carcinogenic dust as the clay that is used here in the US. And I mean, it says that on the back of all the products, that it contains silica dust, which is dangerous. It's not good to breathe that in. That, I guess, was the initial driving force for me, was if I could bring a product that would be safer to use, that would be great. And then once we got here and discovered that not only can we provide something that's safer to use, but we could reduce the amount of waste that goes into the landfills across this country by 66%. that to me was, the exciting part, that, well, hey, I can make a difference. And then when you combine that with, I'm using a waste to reduce waste, you can see why I'm so excited
Sure.
about doing this SpillFix product in the States.
With using SpillFix to absorb the variety of hydrocarbons that are out there, one, is it landfill safe? And when it goes to landfill, the fact that it doesn't release the product and doesn't leach them out, will it break down over time?
Yes, it's an interesting one because we do say the product is landfill safe. We do have certification to show that it's landfill safe. We've done tests where we've absorbed hydrocarbons, then put it through landfill testing, leachate testing. And that means that, when the material has hydrocarbon in it, if you put it into landfill, there's two tests. One is pressure. So when more and more waste goes on top of that, it creates pressure. Will that pressure squeeze the material and release the hydrocarbons into the soil? And it doesn't do that, as I said before. It tends to hang on to hydrocarbons forever. You can't squeeze it out. That's unfortunate. I'd love to be able to squeeze it out and reuse it, right? So under pressure, it won't squeeze it out. And then under the next test is that if it's in landfill and it rains, will the rain then wash out the hydrocarbons? And that doesn't happen either, because coir will hang on to hydrocarbon as it prefers, if in the presence of hydrocarbons, oils, and water, it prefers the hydrocarbon. The SpillFix particles anyway, the material that we use to make the SpillFix, prefers hydrocarbon to water. So in a landfill, when it's raining on that landfill, the rainwater will simply rain through, and it won't wash out the hydrocarbons. So that makes it landfill safe in that instance. Now, you can also have instances where you have acid rain, for instance, in landfills, right, or across landfills, where the rain that comes down is acidic because there's lots of pollution in the air. Might be a polluted area where there's the rainfall is pretty acidic. So even at full strength acid, it will not release the hydrocarbon. Yeah. So that's the parameters for landfill. Your question about degradation, because as you know, we say it's an organic product. It's organic because it's from coconut husk, drops from a tree. In that sense, it's truly organic. We say it's biodegradable, which it is. It will biodegrade in the soil. But the chemical composition of coir is such that it's around 70% lignin. Now, lignin is nature's chemical that inhibits decomposition. So when something contains a lot of lignin, it slows down its rate of decomposition. So coir has a very high percentage of lignin. That means it takes a long time to decompose. It does decompose over time. Hydrocarbons will attract bugs or enzymes or predators, so to speak, or whatever would love to eat a hydrocarbon will get to it way before the coir degrades or decomposes. So the hydrocarbons will be eaten away long before the coir gets decomposed. That's another reason why it's landfill safe.
With SpillFix being an organic product, does it have any certifications, any food grade certifications? Would it be able to be used in restaurants or schools or in food manufacturing facilities where they're manufacturing olive oils or salad dressings?
Yes, most certainly. We have it certified. We have NSF certification for it to be used in food food services, food manufacturing plants, restaurants, front of house, back of house. You can use it there. We also have, it's also OMRI listed for organic use. So if it's an organization that's producing chicken meat, for instance, that's organic. The product can be used, one, because it's NSF certified, and two, it can be used in organic situations.
With the material itself, it's very soft. So beyond absorbing spills on the ground, I'd imagine any surface, concrete or asphalt or tile floors, which I'd imagine it's non-abrasive. Are there other applications that you could use it as a cleaner to clean equipment or tools or your hands, kind of outside the box thinking?
If you want to really go outside of the box, then yeah, I want to make some cosmetic products out of it, right? Because it's that non-abrasive. I mean, I guess that's something that I've been looking at and working on in the background for a while. Is could you use this as a face scrub or a face mask? And that's an exciting part about it. But and the reason why I'm saying that is because it is so non-abrasive in its applications as SpillFix. It won't scratch any surfaces. You mentioned tools. You can clean tools with it. You know, if you happen to spill it all over your tractor, if you spilled some oil all over your tractor, you could just grab a handful and wipe the tractor with it, and it's not going to scratch it, right? It's truly non-abrasive. It's a very soft material.
Well, it seems that it's heavily used in the industrial sectors for the steel mills and manufacturing, but with all the organic qualities and the NF certification and the OMRI listed and the fact that it's dust-free and non-abrasive, it seems like there would be tremendous and endless applications for home use as well.
Yes, of course. There's plenty of, you know, I mean, for starters, if you work on your car in the garage on weekends, or if you're one of those guys that like tinkering with cars, building cars, if you are into racing, drag racing, motorbike racing, it'd be great to have, you should have some SpillFix in your garage, right? Pick up those spills, grease, get grease off things, all those kinds of things. And yes, you could take it into the kitchen, right? Because it's used in industry, in food manufacturing, in you know, large companies that make sauces, tomato sauce, ranch sauce, all of those kinds of things. So yes, you can take it home and use it to pick up spills. You know, if your pets have an accident in the kitchen, you could use that. It'd be great to have in the car as well. You know, if you have young kids, they get sick. Mm-hmm. Great way to absorb vomit, you know. In the laundry, that'd be very good to use in your laundry. You know, if you spill laundry liquid, you know what a mess laundry liquid makes when you spill that in the laundry, sure. Right? And you're using lots of paper and towels to pick that up. You can't use water because now you got a big soapy mess. Well, SpillFix will just eat that up in no time, right? So yeah, I you know, for home use, it'd be fantastic.
Even bleach?
Oh, bleach, you know, we pick up battery acid with it. So bleach is like picking up water.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So with doing the product with SpillFix, are there other things that we have plans to do that you look to do? We'd mentioned the cosmetic side, or you know, potential there would be an application for animals. We've talked about absorbing vomit, which is a gross thing, which I'd imagine applies to schools and hospitals, but you know, I look at urine and things of that nature that, you know, as a potential for a kitty litter product.
Oh yeah, I mean that you know, as you can see, I mean its absorption capacities will give us plenty of other things to do, right? It'd be great to have it in a kit on school buses. You know, when kids get hurt, when they bleed or they vomit or they have accidents, it's a safe, simple way to clean it up. It's safe around kids. In fact, they probably love to clean it up themselves, right? So there's plenty more areas that we want SpillFix to be used and that we want to get it into to be used. Malls. I don't know how many times you've been to a mall and a kid drops an ice cream and they come and they place some cones around it, and you know, and that area stays like that for a while until somebody can come with a mop and a bucket and make a bigger mess first. Right. Well, if you just had a jar of SpillFix, you could just pour that on that ice cream mess, right? And within seconds, you could sweep it all up and, you know, just put a little bit more on and you'd have a slick, free surface. You could clean it real quickly, you know. Theme parks, or, you know, we have, in the US, we've got fantastic parks, roller coaster rides. I think a jar of SpillFix at the end of every roller coaster ride should be, you know, should be mandated. Because you get kids that come off sick and
Sure.
all those kinds of things. You know, it's a very simple way of cleaning it up. It's safe, safe around people, safe for pets. And yes, all of those applications, all of those places that we can see where there's never been really such a simple solution is where we need to get the product to be used. And then, yes, moving on from that, yeah, we have plans to make some other great products out of this material for the pet industry especially.
So with the material and all the wonderful things we have discussed, it truly comes across as a miracle of nature.
Yes.
One of those things that Mother Nature's provided us
Yep.
that we've otherwise turned our head to, and now have something as an amazing solution
Yep.
for everyone to utilize. As on a final note, going back to SpillFix, what would be the maybe top 3 items or maybe features and benefits that just really ring a bell and hit home for the industrial world that have seen such an impact from being able to harness this product and eliminate the toxic clay absorbent that's been used for so many years?
To me, the number one feature would be bringing safety to the workplace, or improving the safety in the workplace. You know, if you can take care of the workers, I mean, that's very important, very dear to me. Is if, as a businessman, you know, how can you improve the conditions of your workers, make it safer for them? And that's why this product is so compelling for me, because it provides you with the opportunity to be able to do that. And then, so if you have a safe work environment, that's great. You're taking care of your people. Now, if the product then has a further feature benefit, which is exciting, and that is you're using a tiny amount of it compared to the clay materials, you are generating so much less waste, right? And that has got to be something that we all have to strive for. Less waste going into landfill, because that benefits the environment. And if we take care of the environment, that benefits all of us. So I guess that's the exciting part about SpillFix. You know, it creates these great benefits that benefits people, the business itself from a financial perspective, the safety of the workers. I mean, that's got to be good. And then from an environmental perspective, having so much less waste going into landfill, that's got to be fantastic. And the fact that we're using a waste stream to achieve all that, I mean, can you get anything better, you know?
It's a win for everyone.
It's a win for everybody.
That's fantastic, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
If there was one final message, I guess, that you'd want everybody to know and take away on the importance of this, and really the importance on the efforts that have been made for so many years. What would that one push be?
We need to, as businessmen, workers, citizens, we have to all try and do our little bit for the environment. That is more and more important for our children. You know, if you have kids like I do, and you travel around the world and you see that, one, it's not as safe as it used to be, and two, that some of these places won't be around forever, you know, then to me, if you can do good in what it is you're doing, that'll help the environment. That's what I would say. That's what is always in the top of my mind. What kind of world will I leave for my children? Right? Because when we're gone and this place is all screwed up, they're going to blame us for that, right?
Sure.
We'll be gone, so it doesn't matter that they blame us, but will we feel good, you know? And so I guess that's what I would like to, that's what I'd leave you with is, if you like this product, then, you know, we're doing good.
Well, you're doing fantastic.
Yeah.
And, you know, I definitely thank you for all the outside the box thinking that you've done to be able to create a product that is a waste stream coming from the horticulture industry, to take waste now into the industrial market to clean up additional wastes.
Yeah.
And in cleaning up those wastes to be able to reduce such a large amount that we otherwise for decades haven't done. So I take my hat off to you for that and really do appreciate everything you've done.
And I appreciate you being an advocate and believing in this as much as I do, and going out there and spreading the word every day and showing companies how they can save money and bring safety to the workplace.
That's great.
Okay.
Thanks so
Chris.
much.
Thank you.